recorded. I was actually responding to a comment on a video when something really occurred to me. When something occurred to me that I have long realized that the very definition of an organism would actually exclude sexual reproduction, right? It would exclude sexual reproduction. And so I had to jump on here to make that note. And I've been trying to find the official definition of what an organism is, right? Now, you have to understand there is a difference between life and an organism, yeah? Cells are alive. Cells are alive, but they are not an organism. What is an organism? An organism is something that is, self-contained. It's not just self-contained, but it is autonomous. The reason cells are alive, but they're not organisms, is they are not autonomous. They work as part of a group from cells to tissues to organs to organ systems to an organism, right? And I found a definition of a biological definition of what an organism is. And even they got it confused. They got it confused, and I don't understand why, because I studied this in college and it was pretty clear, because they had to delineate for us why cells are not an organism, right? Why us, the human, the cats, the rats, the bees, the lions, why those are the organisms and not their individual trillions of cells, right? So I want you to read this. In the grand theater of life, in the grand theater of life, from the microscopic to the majestic, every living entity that breathes, feeds, grows, responds, and reproduces is called an organism. That definition is incorrect. Oh my goodness. That definition is so badly wrong. I don't know what is wrong. It's like I'm suddenly discovering that the science community, they had an agenda. They had an agenda to distort what is true and what is not, in order to explain why males exist. Every living entity that breathes, feeds, grows, responds, and reproduces is called an organism. Cells do all these things. Let me explain this to you. Cells do absolutely every single one of these things, and they are not an organism. You have trillions of cells in you that do all these things. When they receive oxygen, they're breathing. When they receive glucose, they're breathing. When they grow, when they divide, cellular division and then growth, they are growing, right? When they interact with a receptor, when they interact with in cell signaling, they are responding. Right? When they reproduce, they are when they copy themselves, they are reproducing. When they copy themselves, they are reproducing. but they are not organisms. And they are not organisms. Organism isn't just a body that moves or a plant that grows. It's self-contained living system. Do you understand that? It is a self-contained living system. The reason a bacteria is an organism, but the cells in our bodies are not, even though they're probably like the same size, even though they're probably like the same size, and they all do the same exact thing. It's because a bacterium is self-contained. It is an autonomous being, but your cells are not. Your cells are working in concert with other cells to produce the entire responses of your living organism. Right? That is the difference between a cell and a bacterium, even though they're both a cell. They're both cells. They are both single cells. A bacterium is a self-contained living system, but your cells are not. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that an organism is self-contained, which means it does itself all of its biological processes by itself. That is why it is self-contained. It does all of its biological processes by itself. That is what qualifies it as a self-contained living organism. Self-contained living system, an organism. That means by sexual reproduction, you are no longer self-contained. And that is literally against life. The entire point of life is to be self-contained, because that is the best way you can self-determine. That is the best way you can self-determine. And if you're wondering, if you're still doubting it, right? I need you to look at your entire organ systems, every single one of them, right? Every single one of your organ systems work independently of another organism, right? Mm. And every single one of them, I need you to listen to this very carefully. Every single one of those organ systems, cells, tissues, right? Every single one of them have no cost to you except energy. This is why this is the best way to be an organism, to be self-contained and self-determined. The part where you have cost that is more than energy is where you interact with males. They are influencing their ability, that the loss of self-containment in that area is what is killing us. That is not supposed to happen, because that is the very opposite and purpose of life. The entire purpose of life itself, of doing all these things that they're mentioned here, all of these things, breathing, feeding, all these things, breathing, feeding, growing, responding, reproducing, yeah? All of them are to ensure your life. That is the singular purpose of which your life exists. That is the singular purpose for which every single biological process exists. Which means that having this reproduction with the males that ends up killing you would never ever occur naturally to your biology. The self-containment, of a living system, right, is that you do all those things yourself, and then you and because you're self-contained, you self-evolve. Let me repeat that. You self-evolve. That means that your biology evolves, continues to evolve for you that which is best for you. Do you understand? Right? So any evolution that you might go through that might occur would come from your biology entirely. Influenced by other organisms, by the environment, but it will be your biology that is evolving, because the evolution, that is part of the evolving. The evolution, that is part of this process, responding. So the man having anything to do with our biology, that is unnatural. That is grotesquely unnatural. Sexual reproduction is unnatural nonsense. It doesn't fit the definition of a living organism. And if you're wondering, other organisms have this too. Other species have this too. Yes, because they have this problem that we do. They have the same problem that we do. Same species attacked them. Same species attacked them, which is why they also have an antagonistic relationship with their males. Those males are a different species, and those males are the same species as ours, except they have diverged in their evolution. Thus, they have different environments, right? The environment influences your evolution path, your evolutionary path, right? They are the same species. That means that the males in the other animals are the same exact species as our males, except they've taken different evolutionary paths and different evolutionary activities, different evolutionary behaviors. Let me repeat that in case you don't understand. You are mating with another species. Every time you mate with males, you are mating with another species. Mating with a species that doesn't care for you to live or not. That is so far beyond. That is so far beyond what is natural that it is actually like an abomination. Let me repeat that. You are mating with an organism that doesn't care if you live or die. This is exactly why they cannot possibly be part of our biology. Cannot possibly be part of our species. Because if they were part of our species, that means that they would be part of our biology. That means that our biology would have evolved them. Our biology would have evolved them. Because they will have come from our biology, exactly how you birthed your child, right? That's how our biology will have evolved them. Which means that they would not have in them anything to hurt us. If our biology did make them, they would not have anything in them to hurt us, right? But they have in them their true biology, which is the Y chromosome. And that one doesn't care to not hurt us. That is why all these things are happening. That is why they don't mind if women die. That is why they literally say far too many times, far too often, they want women to die. That is why they cause, that is why the way they influence our reproduction, they didn't care to make sure it doesn't kill us. That is why they didn't care to make sure it doesn't kill us. This is the entire reason women die in childbirth. It is not supposed to be hurtful. Birthing a child is not supposed to be hurtful. It is not supposed to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Exactly like how you can enact all these biological processes, including your heart beating, you taking air into your lungs and breathing out air, air going into your blood, digesting food with acid, right? And 5,000 other biological processes. This is why they don't hurt, because your biology mitigates them, right? Because that is your biology and it has your best interest at heart. Another species does not have your best interest at heart, but it is only a predator species that would care to even influence your biology in the first place. You understand? It is only a predator species that would care to influence your biology in the first place. Any other species, right? Any other species would not care to influence your biology at all. Do you understand? Any other species would not care. That means that if you were to slit yourself open, the only organisms that will rush into you would be organisms that are infectious, that are predatory to your kind. Cats would not do that because they're not predatory to our kind. Dogs would not do that because they're not predatory to our kind. The only kind that will bother to show up are the kind that are predatory to us. This is just how life works. That means that for men to have influenced our biology, that means they are a predatory species. Which is exactly why they are preying on us. This is why they exploit us. This is why they don't care if we live or die. This is why they don't care if we eat or if we eat or drink water. This is why they don't care that we have good air to breathe. Because all of those things are human needs. Their original species do not need those things. I only hope that women wake up enough to save ourselves. I only hope that women wake up in time to save ourselves, because AI revolution means one thing and one thing only: our species will extinct. Our species will extinct. Our species will extinct. Okay, that is the only thing it means. That is the only thing it means. They will finally have what they need to get rid of us. They kept us around because they needed us. And with the AI revolution, they will no longer need us. They will no longer need us. And so they will get rid of us. It is that simple. I help women wake up to save ourselves. Because we are a dying species, and I'm the only one who sees that. We are a dying species, and I'm the only one who sees that. What you're seeing from the men right now, you have no idea. This is still a fraction of what they're capable of. This is still not even a fraction, not even one millionth of what they're capable of. What you're seeing from the men in this time era is not 1/1,000,000th of what they're capable of. They are pure evil. They are pure evil. And I'm warning women before the evil takes hold, before we no longer have any chance of saving ourselves. That's it for now.